Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Ninjago. Now, as all of you should know, Dragons Rising Season 4 Part 1 is coming out in about 2 days. Now, I am recording this video one day prior, so if anything comes out on the Wednesday, that's my bad that I missed it. So, today we're going to be talking about my hopes for the season, my concerns, and a couple predictions about what might happen. Now, before we get into this, as some of you may know, the episodes did come out in French, and I have watched them. So if you want to go into the season with no spoilers of what happens in any episodes, I suggest maybe don't watch the video. Alright, let's get into my hopes. Now, for my hopes for the season, my main hope is that we just get more development with Jay. I think this is going to happen based off the first 2 episodes, where we see a lot of moments with Jay and Nia, some moments with Kai and Jay, a nice a nice nightmare sequence with Jay where he sees Lord Raz in Nia's corset, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I just want to see more of Jay. I want him to slowly get back his memories. That's my main hope. I don't want it to just rush in with his memories. If anything, I want it to be similar to Hunted with Wu, where he slowly is regaining his memories and then click, he gets them all back. I'm fine with that. But I just want it to be a nice development up to him getting his memories and make it feel like it's paid off well. Because we've been building for this for what? 3 whole seasons, and they really started building in Season 3. And to be honest, Jay was the highlight of Season 3. So I'm hoping we can continue this great development and get a really nice memories back scene with Jay. Next hope surrounds Lloyd. Now, I think we all know that Dragons Rising has been pretty predominantly Lloyd focused along with the new ninja. But I don't really see this as a problem because it's great Lloyd development. We've got him becoming more of a master. He's learned with his anxiety and with the memories from the Source Dragons. And now he's learning about his elemental power, which I think is pretty interesting. Of course, we do have the issue with the being more green ninjas, which we'll see how that shapes out. It might end up good, it might end up bad. Who knows? We have to see the season first. But this does look very interesting. I mean, we're getting Jillian Michaels back as Little Lloyd. What could you want more of? They addressed the complaint about Sam Vincent voicing young Lloyd, and they fixed it. And they brought back the original actress. So, no complaints there. I think Lloyd's journey is going to be super interesting. I reckon we're going to see that Dark Lloyd that we saw in the CMF series. And hopefully, as we saw in the summer wave actually, the wave coming out later this year, Dark Lloyd is in the land bounty, I'm pretty sure. So he might be returning, so we might get a nice setup explaining why he's returning, where he's from. I'm pretty sure he might be from another cycle, but we'll have to wait and see. So everything surrounding Lloyd so far has been looking really good. So I'm excited to explore it more. Yeah. Alright, on to the next hope. My next hope revolves around Cole. Now this isn't big as the other 2, but based off the footage we've seen in the season, it does look like Cole's going on his own mini journey, which I think is pretty interesting. As we've seen with the fans, there are a lot of complaints about Cole not doing enough. So I think him going on a little journey, finding out about the Loyalists will actually be quite interesting. Give us some nice Cole action, as we can see in the clip where he's fighting the elemental monsters. And yeah, that's all I really want for Cole. Just a bit more development, bit more screen time. Yeah, and we're good with Cole. Alright, next up, I really want to see another sick battle in Imperium. I don't know if this is the opinion of everyone, but the finale 2 episodes of Season 1 are so good in my opinion. The battles at Imperium are so fun. They're beautifully animated. They look great. They're so sick. The way they fight. The shot with Beatrix with her arms out with Lloyd, Nia and Zane fighting her is just so cool. And I'm really hoping we're going to get another scene like that in the last 1 or 2 episodes of Season 4. Especially considering the last 2 finales were kind of lacking on that really sick action, with it being with Thunderfang. You didn't even see the ninja fight him in the Part 2 finale. But yeah, those are mostly my hopes. We do have one more, which I'll get into right now. And for my final hope of Season 4, this one revolves around Umbra Silvers. Now, Umbra Silvis is something we know very little about, and we only saw in the last 2 minutes of episode 2. And I think this is a really interesting location. I think they didn't utilize the first location that Frack, Sora, Wildfire, and Ryu ended up in. I thought, as you can see by the thumbnail, I thought they were going to find the Shadow Dojo. That would have been pretty sick, but oh well, we'll get Umbra Silvis instead. Now, as we saw in episode 2, Frack sees his dad and is very hesitant to go and see him, which I'm pretty interested to find out why. We also know that an ally is probably going to be a loyalist. Now, I'm wondering, this will probably be involved with the Sora Frack storyline and Wildfire Ryu. I'm wondering if this is either going to be Sora's parents, which would be pretty sick to see, but I think there's a chance it could be Frack's dad, which is also a very interesting plot development, and I mean they can do a bunch with that. So, though the story, that part of the story didn't start too great, I do think there's a lot of potential for it to be very fun. Alright, let's get into my concerns. Now, I think my main concern revolves around two specific characters or groups. That would be Rapton and the Freebooters and Powerlid. Please, God, can these characters not return? They were so annoying in Season 3. They were so unnecessary, and probably my biggest problem with Season 3 was the filler, the wasting time, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to those two characters / groups. Unfortunately, based off the lines list, we do know Rapton's going to be in it. Fortunately, Powerlid's not on there, so only one. But, man, I'm really hoping Rapton's just got a minimal part. They're so pointless. They don't really add anything to the story. I mean, When Doves Cry is such a mid-episode. The only part saving it is the Raz and Frohiki and Geo and Rontu fight. Apart from that, they literally wasted 22 minutes on some stupid stuff with the Freebooters and Powerlid. So I think that's my biggest concern about the season is just time wasting. And that was a big problem with Season 3. But I do have to say, based on the first 2 episodes, we're already doing better than Season 3. As the first 2 episodes of Season 3 were super time wasting and just a bit unnecessary. However, with Season 4, we're getting straight into it. Alright, next concern. Let's go. Alright, this is probably my other major concern, and it revolves around Lord Raz. Or, to be more specific, the lack of Lord Raz in the marketing, in the voice lines, and probably in the show. I mean, Lord Raz carried Season 3. I feel like him, Jay, Lloyd, and Aaron was sort of the standouts of that whole season. And Raz completely mogged in terms of how good of a character he was. The Forbidden Five and Thunderfang. I mean, he's way more intimidating. He actually gets stuff done. He's interesting the whole time, and he doesn't do stupid stuff like Rocks or the others. And yeah, I think he was a really interesting and important part of Season 3, and now he's just gone. They built up all the hype of him capturing Wu, which was a crazy reveal. What does that mean? That's another thing we need to find out. Why did he capture Wu? Was it just because it's Wu? Was there a reason for it? Did it have to do with the portal gates? I hope we find that out. That'll probably be in part 2. But yeah, I'm just a bit concerned that we're sort of leaving Raz. We just ended on a really high note with Raz, and then we're just having a break from him for about 9.5 episodes. That's a bit of a concern. But depending on how it ends, which I'm assuming will be a pretty big cliffhanger, they can probably save it with part 2. Alright, I think that's it for my concerns. Now, we're just going to do a couple predictions, and then we'll wrap up the video. Alright, let's get into my predictions. In terms of predictions, I don't have too many crazy predictions for this season, but I have about 3 predictions. As I said before, obviously, I think the season's going to end with a cliffhanger revolving around Lord Raz possibly meeting up with Dr. LaRoe. And I think that's going to set up Lord Raz being the main villain of part 2, which is pretty good. I think this is a bit more of an interesting prediction. I think Beatrix is going to look different. As you can tell from that anime sort of picture, that does not look human. She looks a bit like monsterish. I'm not sure. Maybe, well, we don't really know what that image means, what it's implying and all of that. but I have a feeling Beatrix is going to look different. You can call it a basic prediction, but yeah. And my final prediction, I think if this image of Aaron, as you can see on the screen, is real, I think we're going to end at the monastery with the ninja all together. Probably with Jay getting his memories back. And then we're going to set up part 2, which will revolve around the dragon icons. I'm certain of that. Yeah, that's going to be part 2. Okay, and with that said, I think I've gone over everything I want to go over in this video. I didn't talk much about the elemental monsters just because I just think they're going to be cool. I don't think there's much to talk about with them. There's going to be sick villains that are very well designed, and we're just going to have some sick action with them. Now, if you guys have anything that you think I missed, that I should have added, if I'm wrong about anything, if you have any predictions you want to tell me, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the other videos. Alright, thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.